It is I, the god of backup sitters, laughing all the years that you have spurned me, all the years that you have tossed me aside, and now look at you. Your starting center is injured, and you're relying on a 6'6" tweener who can't grab a rebound and save his fucking life to play center minutes for you. All the years I tried to give you Andre Drummond, and you laughed at me. Now look at you. Here you are, begging like a little child begging for a lollipop. Well, here we go. It's officially trade season. This is the first of what I assume will be many videos on this channel in the coming month regarding trades, trade targets, trade rumors. And who better to start with than a player who my chat constantly brings up all of the time and has been the case for several years now. That is Mr. Andre Drummond. And I guess within good reason, right? Last season with the Chicago Bulls, that was the first time since the 2018-2019 season that Andre Drummond spent the entire year with one team. So this is a guy who has been bouncing around the league, guy who's gone from team to team to team. And it's also a guy who has put together a pretty crazy stretch of basketball over the past couple of weeks. Nikola Vucevic has been dealing with a groin injury, so Andre Drummond steps up in his stead. And in the last 5 games since joining the starting lineup to replace Nikola Vucevic, Andre Drummond is averaging 14 points per game, 19.5 rebounds. Not per 36, not per 100%, per game. 19.6 rebounds, 1.8 steals, 1.4 blocks per game. This includes a 3-game stretch with 64 rebounds. The most by a Bull since a guy named, I don't know, you probably heard of him, Dennis Rodman. And this little 5-game stretch perfectly exemplifies everything about Andre Drummond, right? An undeniably incredible rebounder. In fact, one of the greatest rebounders to ever play the sport. But his weaknesses have also been on display. I mean, these averages are insane considering there was a game against the Pacers where Drummond was played off the floor almost immediately because he just couldn't keep up with the Pacers defensively. So what are you getting if you trade for Andre Drummond? If the Bulls decide, you know what, you know, we're not going to be winning, we're not going to be competing much, let's see if we can get something for a backup center. What are you getting? Well, like I said earlier, you're legitimately getting one of the greatest rebounders in the history of the sport. That might sound hyperbolic. That might sound like I'm trying to gas it up a little bit. No. He legitimately is one of the greatest rebounders to ever play the game. 8.3 offensive rebounds per 75 possessions. That's the most in the NBA. 12.3 defensive rebounds per 75 possessions. That's also the most in the NBA. 19.6 rebounds per 36 minutes so far this season. That is the most of his career. Again, this is a guy who has put together, this is a guy who's been the rebounding king multiple times throughout his career, averaging the most rebounds per 36 minutes of his entire career at this point. He's 30 years old. So I think about some of these contending teams like the Thunder, teams like the Mavericks, teams like the Clippers, even a team like the Sixers, who desperately need rebounding in their second unit. Teams like those could really, really use a guy like Andre Drummond. This sequence here starts with a really nice defensive play for Andre Drummond, which leads to a steal, something we'll talk about here in a bit. Get up there. Give me that. Terrible lob. Now Drummond, run the floor. Does a great job using his body and rebounds. Sadiq Bey, get off me, little baby. Too small. Defensive sequences like these for Drummond are pretty impressive. Playing against a guy like Capella gives him the liberty of just kind of roaming around, doesn't have to worry about much on the perimeter, right? It gives him the ability to be in these passing lanes. Again, we'll talk about this here in a bit. Contest the shot, get the rebound, get the hell out of here, Wesley Matthews. You're still in the league? Damn! You don't just average this many rebounds by mistake, folks. Use your body. Good positioning. Those are things Drummond does really well. Embiid's got to go out to help. Boom. Drummond, I'm getting low. Get off me, Kelly Oubre. Put back. What are you complaining about? What do they want? What are they complaining about? Basket interference? Is that out of the cylinder? Quit crying. Embiid's rubbing off on all of them. It's a grown man's rebound right here. Grown man. He had 10 offensive rebounds in this game alone. Pushes PJ Tucker. Nicholas Batum. Get the fuck off me. Third quarter yelling, why the fuck Batum in? Offensive foul. You be the judge. Drummond's also really smart about using the glass, and he's not afraid to miss a million tip-ins. I mean, we'll talk about this here in a bit. His field goal percentage at the rim is garbage, and a big reason for that is because he just tips that shit up there. He's going to tip. He's going to try. Batum puts his body on it, but Drummond just does a good job tipping it off the board back to himself. Goes up strong. Good work right there on the glass. Again, using that big body, not afraid to tip it to himself. This should be a rebound for Julius Randle. 10 times out of 10. Julius Randle's right there. Drummond just does enough to tip the ball up in the air. Really active. These little double jumps. Going after the rebounds. Yeah. Extra possessions. Really important things. More often than not, rebounding is just about positioning, right? And being a smart rebounder. Knowing where your guy is. Knowing how to put a body on him. And that's what Drummond does great. Again, you're not this good of a rebounder accidentally. And he's incredible at finding where his guy is and putting body on him. Look, offensively, he's going to seal off Hartenstein. OG, you're too little. I'm grabbing that one hand and putting it back up and in. You could also do much worse defensively at the backup center position than Andre Drummond. He's not the greatest defender. He's going to have lapses. He's going to have times where he's just not even contesting a shot at the rim at all. Moments where he's barely moving. Moments where he's not hustling. You're going to have those lapses with Drummond. But he is an active defender when he locks in. A guy who's very capable of defending on the perimeter, for a center. A guy who's very active in help defense. And a center with unbelievably active and good hands. I mean, this guy generates so many steals. 2.8 steals per 75 possessions. Not only is that the most amongst any center in the league by a comfortable margin, that's also the second most in the entire NBA. He is the second highest steal percentage in the league amongst any player. He's also second amongst centers in deflections per 75 possessions. Again, when you're getting a locked-in Andre Drummond, you're getting a guy who is pretty solidly capable on the perimeter. Good read right here. Julius Randle tries the back cut, and Drummond just reads that. Knows he can sag off of Hartenstein a little bit because Hartenstein's not really a perimeter threat. Gets his hand in the passing lanes. Boom, that's a steal. That's a really nice play. Again, another smart play right here by Andre Drummond. On ball, Joel Embiid. Did he cook in this game? Yeah, he fucking cooked. But he is Joel Embiid. But knows that Joel Embiid's going to try to rip the ball up in an effort to draw a foul. And just kind of reads it. Gets a steal. Embiid's yelling for a foul. Did Drummond just turn it over right there? Yeah, he did. Legitimately great job dropping in this pick and roll right here. Just being active, using that wingspan. That's a nice play. So I'm confident Andre Drummond has mastered stat padding. Gets a nice play here in the backcourt to steal this. Clint Capella Okongwu, just a lazy pass. Drummond blows an absolute bunny. But here's the deal, right? Offensive rebound. Let's pad those numbers. You don't put up some of the best rebounding numbers of the past 20 to 30 years. Just naturally, right? We got to miss a few bunnies here and there if it means an offensive rebound and a tip-in. Drummond legit did a pretty good job in this game against the Hawks, breaking up some of these lob attempts. We already know what the Hawks are on. We already know what Trae Young's trying to do. That's a great play right there by Drummond. Just good positioning, knowing he has time to recover and break up a lob if he needs to. Great work. Drummond also does a pretty good job in the pick and roll when he's helping or dropping or whatever the case may be, getting low, just putting his hands in the dribbling lanes and the passing lanes. Give me that shit. Again, breaking up a lob in the pick and roll. Just doing a great job. I mean, that's good work. Grown man steal right here. Again, in this pick and roll. I'm telling you guys, when he's locked in, it's not terrible. Again, the problem is, how often is he going to be locked in? That's a serious concern. Also, when you're playing a team that spreads it out, maybe likes to go small, Drummond's going to feast on the glass, but he's also going to get cooked defensively more often than not. Then you have my big concerns with a guy like Drummond. He's 30 years old. At this stage in his career, kind of feels like he is who he is. That's an offensive black hole. That's a guy who does so many things offensively that make you scratch your head until your head bleeds. He's currently shooting 59% at the rim, which is the 5th lowest amongst centers. Interestingly enough, Vucevic is 8th. So the Bulls are just like, hell yeah, hey, give me every center who can't fucking make a layup. We want all of those guys. By estimated plus minus, he's been a net negative offensive player 4 of the last 5 seasons. And there is just moments where it's just like, what are we thinking? How are we not making that pass? Why are we going up with that hook shot? He's shooting like something like 20% outside of the restricted area in the paint. I mean, these hook shots are automatic bricks. And I'm imagining him playing with a point guard like Luka Doncic. It might be the first time in NBA history that a point guard manslaughters a player on his team on the court. Like, we could witness history there. Even though Drummond's put up some remarkable rebounding stats since he's filled in the starting lineup in the last 3 Bulls losses, he is a combined 13 of 34 from the field. That is not a good number for a center, folks. Let's go ahead and look right here. Pass this ball. Go ahead and pass this. Yeah, go ahead and pass that. Go ahead and kick that out. Julius Randle's literally guarding no one. Hey, Drummond, let's go ahead and kick that out. Hey. Okay. All right, Drummond. Let's go ahead and pass out of this. Yeah, let's go ahead and pass out of this. Yeah, we're gonna go ahead and pass out of this. Oh, he does pass out of it to himself. Travel. Oh yeah, good slip, Drummond. Get up! Oh! All right, Andre, let's go ahead and pass out of this. Let's go ahead and pass out of it. Obi Toppin is committed right here. You got this kick out right here. Let's go ahead and pass out of it. Let's go ahead and pass out of this, Drummond. All right. Drummond also gets blocked a lot for a center. And a lot of it is some questionable hands. Like, why are we bringing this ball down? Maybe a bit of a tough pass. I mean, this is a great play by Zach Collins. How are we getting blocked? Right here. Zoom in, I guess. I didn't mean to, but enhance. How is this ending in a block from Zach Collins? Go up! That pass might have gotten tipped now that I'm looking at it. I think Drummond just saves all of his energy offensively so he can do one of these moments a year, right? A top 2 or 3 defensive player of the year candidate. I'm just going to break his ankles. Me, Andre Drummond. Oh, man. I forgot this happened. I genuinely forgot this moment happened. What a time. Beyond that, what does his trade market even look like? Because this is where things start to get a little bit interesting for me. He's making around $4 million, so you wouldn't be getting back like a huge contract in return. I can't imagine too many teams are lining up to give up real value for Andre Drummond. Like, is there a team out there desperate enough to give up a first? I really doubt it. So what are you getting in return if you're the Chicago Bulls? Second round picks? Is that even worth it? Because if you're the Bulls, right, you trade Drummond, who's playing center for you? It's not like the Bulls are full-fledged committed to rebuilding yet. If they sell off Levine and they're committed to a fire sale, that's a completely different story. But as of right now, they're trying to be competitive. The East is The East is dog shit. They might make the play-in tournament. Are you going to trade a legit innings eater for you? Somebody who can play the center position, somebody who can get you minutes if Vucevic is out or if Vucevic is hurt? Because right now, their other centers are Adama Sanogo. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that right. I know I'm not. Terry Taylor. Like, are they just going to commit to those guys at the backup big? So you have to look at it that way. If you're the Bulls, why are you just taking like a middle second round pick for a guy who could legitimately eat minutes for you at the center position? I don't know. I'm interested to see how it all plays out. If I had to guess, I honestly don't think he gets traded. I really don't. It's just a weird thing where I don't know if you're going to get the value back that even makes sense for you. And if you're a contending team, you're not giving up a first for Andre Drummond. You're just not going to do it. Either way, though, he'd be an interesting backup center option. And for the Dallas Mavericks sickos in the comment section, yes, he would be a good backup center for the Mavericks. And he's a guy who's been rumored to go there a trillion times, so it fits the Mavericks MO. We finally got our guy. Fucking 8 years later, we finally got him. Danny Green, you're next, buddy. Don't think I forgot about that podcast episode you made me listen to.